Honorable Vice President and Dr. Patisha Kumari ji, and the dynamic registrar, Dr. Sukhvinder Singh ji, and for taking up this very wonderful conference on the 6th International Conference on New Frontiers of the Engineering, Management, Humanities, and Social Sciences. It gives immense pleasure for giving me the keynote address. My agenda in this 15-20 minutes presentation I have given it is, what is remote sensing technology? First point in 2 to 3 minutes. What is the satellites? How it is helping for remote sensing technology? Then what are the various natural resources we can regularly monitor for sustainable development? And what are the spatial resolution in the international remote sensing satellites? And mechanism of the sensors. And using this mechanism, we have developed almost 10 patents during the last 2 years, and developed some 10 projects in the national, international projects. So how this using these sensors, especially in the areas of the health management, technology, rural management, agricultural management, how we are developing the patents with my students. That is also one of the concerns, which will be more interesting for the participants who are all over the globe. They have been participants. So with this agenda, I will quickly move to my presentation. I request all the respected participants to kindly be put on your concentration on the slides, because much of the information I kept on the slides so that it will save time. I always believe that image is the 10 times better than the oral communication. Then technology, education, teaching and learning. Technology is everywhere now. Just now, the Honorable Guest of Honor has given a message that in India, the National Educational Policy, how they have developed in 2020, NEP 2020, my guru, Dr. Kasturi Rangan, who is the chairman of that committee, he has focused 488-page documents of National Educational Policy in India. And the most important concern is the 2 points they were highlighted. One is about the qualitative and other about the quantitative. Quantitative concern especially in the developing countries like India is that the GR, gross enrollment ratio in our country, as per the records, is 27% only. Out of 100, only 27% people are going for higher education. Rest they are not going. So when I was in University Grants Commission, we conducted a survey what exactly students want, that whether they want good faculty, good infrastructure, good support or anything, why they are going to the internationally, physically by paying huge lakhs of money, why they are not coming. So many committees there. There it has presumed that student basically wants to, one is whatever they are pursuing, they want guaranteed placement, guaranteed career and guaranteed the offer for higher studies. And second point is they want that flexible learning. Flexible learning, they want learn while you earn concept. That's why most of the people, they are going for the USA, Australia, and that is the one of the feedback we have received from almost 5,000 students. They are given unanimously that we are ready to invest money, but not the time. But when we are investing the time, we want what is the guarantee. So in this regard, I think that way. And second important aspect, what the Eudaxia Research University doing is very good. I really appreciate. We are unable to figure in the top ranking global international universities, India, especially in spite of having IITs, NITs, IISCs, and IIITs, we are unable to figure in the top 100 rankings of these times, and then the rankings, we are unable to QS rankings. That is one of the most concerned why we are unable to figure in this. The major concern is the research. Research we are doing, but it is, no doubt we are doing the research, but the research is becoming the monotonous. In a single line it is going. As a multidisciplinary research is very much required. I think that is what the under the dynamic leadership of the Rituraj Saikiaji, the Eudaxia Research University is taking a wonderful developments in the point of the research, quality of the research, in mixing, in bringing all the international frontiers at one place. That's a wonderful, sir. And then we are quickly go to this, and health sector, agricultural sector, painting, toys, everywhere technology is there. After pandemic, the educational sector has changed. Even the primary education level, technology is taking place. Next, even in the technology is taking place in the robotics. In the Japan, Tokyo, we are having airports. The robots are going to carry the luggages of the passengers. So the technology is taking care. Now, in the educational technology, I have seen many of the participants from the educational learning school and the higher education. The real future learning is virtuality and the reality. computer-based metaverse. Metaverse is going to come, is already landed in many of the institutions, many of the museums, and many of the places. And this metaverse becomes highly motivated, and it gives pleasure of learning, and it is also gives between connect teachers and the students. Augmented reality and virtual reality are the two concepts which are helping us. Then the augmented reality is really brings the virtuality into reality. We have been seeing in the sports also, cricket matches. We cannot imagine a match without a third umpire. We can imagine a match with a leg umpire, but without a third umpire, we cannot do so. Why? Because virtuality is becoming reality. So that concept is coming in the educational sector. And virtual is there. That's also virtual technology, virtual reality is there. Then projecting images is a learning. Students need not carry the books, need not carry their pens and pencils, everything, since they have to come into the modem of this historical places. One of the example in the 3D model is the participants are entering into the vision of the model and historical, and as if they are feeling as if historical. So as you told, image learning and the video learning is 10 times better than the audio communication. And this type of metaverse and multiverse is going to play a very important role in all the subjects, chemistry or humanities or historical, in all the subjects. And even the virtuality and reality is also going to take place in the astronomy. Now I'm quickly coming to my interested topic. So with this brief introduction, I'm taking all the participants to how space satellites are working and how we are going to this remote sensing technology imageries, how they are able to do research in the agriculture, in the rural development, in the environmental, especially environmental impact assessment. We have done many of the projects in the NTPC around this 200 kilometers radius of the Korba, Singrauli, Farakka, and the Padma River and the Ganges River. What is happening in the 200 kilometers radius? What is the development before establishment of NTPC, after establishment, post changes? Everything can be possible by sitting in at your lab and at your classroom. The remote sensing technology helps you to reach the boundaries, not only in the present situation, but you can go back 30 years, how was there and what are the changes in the environmental affairs. All this data we are going to tell another quickly. I will complete in 10 to 15 minutes. So basically, broadly, to give this multidisciplinary participants are there. So I'm just speaking about the base level strategies. I'm not going much of the physical equations. So space satellites can be broadly divided into three categories: low Earth orbit, medium Earth orbit, and geostationary orbits. In this, remote sensing technology is mostly taken care of this polar satellite launch vehicles. The space technology is again divided into two: GSLV, geostationary launch vehicles. PSLV is polar satellite launch vehicle. What exactly they are and how they are helping us for this technology development, for doing our research, and we really the practical oriented. My first speaker is also speaking about the forestry identification technology, how it can be done using this PSLV, that we can study quickly now. First, we know what is GSLV. Geostationary satellite is normally placed at a height of 36,000 kilometers. Now the participants can ask, why only 36,000, sir? Why not 30,000 or 10,000 or 20,000? Because you all know Earth is rotating as a very high speed, maybe rotating, not only rotating, it is revolving around the sun. So when it is a one rotation, it is taking place one day, and when it is one revolution around the sun, it is taking 365 days. So one day we are getting, when it is facing sun, we are getting day. When you are facing the other side, it is a dark. So that's why it is revolving and rotating at a very high speed. And to synchronize any of the satellites, it needs to be launched at a height of 36,000 kilometers. Geo means Earth, synchronized, geostationary. That means then only it will become stationary. It catches messages of the cricket matches, your mobile phones, your television communication. All these things will be catched by this GSLV satellite, which are launched at the end of the 36,000. Now, I am not going to speak much on the geostationary satellite because I'm not concerned about today's topic. We are more concerned about the PSLV, polar orbiting satellites. Polar satellite launch vehicles, usually they are launched from pole to pole, and it is an height of only 500 to 600 kilometers. Why only less 500 kilometers, whereas GSLV, it is a 36,000? Because it need to scan the surface of the Earth. polar satellite launch vehicles are launched at the height of the 500 to 600, and it will crosses from Kanyakumari to Kashmir in 11 seconds. In 11 seconds, it will cross the satellites, how it crosses and how it will take all this imaginary, because Hyderabad is the hub of the scientific institutions, number of defense, number of the space, all these data receiving centers are in Hyderabad. And there is a data receiving center of the satellite also. At a stretch, when it is moving from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, it will carries about these 11 seconds, and within 11 seconds, it will scan the earth 150 kilometers, that is called swath width. And this swath width, whatever the sensors are there, basically the PSLV will be more helpful is sensors, and this will be the high resolution, and that details will be studying data. Now these are the, it is scanning the surface of the earth 150 kilometers at a stretch of the 11 seconds it is crossing, and the sensors are taking the imageries. This data is available right from 1978 onwards and current date. Now how satellite is moving, whether satellite is moving or earth is moving. So here the benefit of the nature is that earth is rotating. So that's why satellite need not move. It is a four-stage synchronized PSLV, and it will, once it is a fixed, it will be moving. Now another point, many of the students, they will get a doubt that satellite are launching in the 3 lakhs kilometers of the moon, and we are going to the Mangalyaan, millions of the kilometers long distance, and we are planning for the Gaganyans. We are also planning for the space travel. So how can satellite travel for a long distance? How much fuel is required? This is a basic questions. All the multidisciplinary will be getting, how we are getting the accurate data. This is a wonder of the university, is that we need not require more fuel after 80 kilometers, because the space starts. Whatever gravitational force, here we have to wonderfully remember those gravitational theory experts who has given Sir Albert Newton, who has said that Earth is a gravitational force just by sitting under a tree, he has discovered. So patents and historical events, they all been developed in such a way. So that's why I think after 80 kilometers, whatever troposphere, mesosphere, ionosphere, thermosphere are there, that will be all there. And after crossing that, there is no gravitational force. Whatever the force, the satellite is moving, almost the same speed it will be moving. Only to stop the satellite, we need it. Now we understood how the satellite can move to the lakhs of the kilometers. Now we are coming to the straight away, the technology, how we can do rural development, environmental development, and healthcare development. All this technology we can do using the remote sensing. Remote sensing is the art of obtaining information phenomena without being in contact. And polar satellite is a low Earth orbit satellite and sun synchronous, and it is a launched at the rate of 500 to 600 kilometers from the Earth. It is mostly used for the forest fires, flooding, deforestation, rising sea levels, and etc. Many more we will be seeing. The remote sensing satellites, they will give two types of the satellites, passive remote sensing and active remote sensing. Passive remote sensing make use of the natural energy, that is the solar energy, and the active remote sensing, they generate their own source of energy, and during the night time they can do lidars, and all these sensors they will be using. What is the mechanism? Now we are coming to the third point of my 6-point agenda. So this third point, how it will be, we will able satellite catches the images, how the data interpretation, how we will predict the data. That is what. Before we go into that, why we are going to this, earlier all these process were doing with manually. Survey of India was doing all such processes, but it takes a long time. Normally 25 years, it will be once in a 25 years only they used to collect manually. It is a time consuming, risk consuming. People cannot go to the higher terrain areas and mountains, hilly areas, they cannot go. So that's why the data of the remote sensing data is very important, permanent data recording, unbiased data, even judicially also accepting. Recently, when we are there in Karnataka state, the deputy collector came, sir, there is a claim 20 years the people are present. Is it a satellite can give us imagery whether they are really present 20? When we have taken the data 10 years, there is no habitation. 5 years only there is a habitation. So we are given images with the report, and immediately they have vacated him. Their claim for 20 years was being removed. So like this, it is a very much useful and judicially accepted, globally accepted, And many of the NTPC projects, they are getting World Bank funding subject to condition that environmental impacts study using this remote sensing data. Only they are certifying, and without which they are not funding to the any projects of this. So this remote sensing agricultural we can do by sitting at our laboratory, waiting our room. Crop monitoring, we can assess what type of crop and what type of health and what is the quantity, everything we can able to generate. And soil mapping also, soil types and soil conditions in a large level. In USA, you know, the lands are 5,000 acres, 10,000 acres, which is not manually possible. But in a large level, we want to do in the national level, like Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats, entire national level. What is the forest coverage in India? Manual data used to say 23%, but satellite data originally we have taken, it is coming to the 21%. So like this, the exact data sitting at classroom, we can do forestry. Water resources, we can see body mapping. What was earlier, how the rivers were moving 20 years, Padma River or Ganges River, how they are moving now, what are the direction they are moving, what was the changes, and what are the irrigation, how it is going, everything can be taken with the use of the satellite imageries. And land use planning, nowadays urban developments are taking a lot of developments, claims, encroachment is possible. So that way also it will help in urbanization development also using this data. And highly spatial resolution is there. We can go even less than 1 meter resolution also, those data will get it quickly later. Environmental impact assessment, we can do a lot of projects. How we are doing that project, I'll quickly explain in my last slide. Disaster management, flood monitoring, drought assessment, cyclone tracking, everything. And high resolution PSLV data or the remote sensing data. And frequent revisit, once in a 15 days, we can get the data. If 2 satellites are there, alternate days, we can able to get the data, what is happening every day. Multispectral imaging, all weather capability is there. And some of the satellites names we have started in 1972 is IRSA, Indian Remote Sensing, IRS-1C, IRS-P4, Resource Set, all these satellites. I'm not going much details. Only thing is the spatial resolution that was only catching 1 pixel value is 36 meter, but now we are able to slowly coming 5 meters, and then it is coming to the even less than that. So this way we can 2.5 meters. Now we have finally come Cartosat 2019, 0.25 meter resolution also we can identify job. A small plant, small object we can able to identify even with the use of the remote sensing satellite. Now every day the resolution is highly increasing. We can catch even the less than 25.25 also. So various satellites data every time they are using. These are the facilitating Cartosats 2A, 2B, 2E, 2.3, all these they are helping alternate days for giving this data and application of the sensors also. So here what I want to do, how to do research in this area. In this area, the research aspect is the using the sensors. Sensors are the most useful, they will give data. Sensor is used to measure the monitor. A sensor is a device or component that detects physical properties from the environment and converts them into signals that can be read and interpreted by the human machines. So these are the sensors which are using in the satellite data, and this will be automobile industry nowadays in a smaller level it is using, healthcare they are using, and we are recently developed a sensor which can discover the lung cancer in advance also, a patent registered in the UK. And so the healthcare sector also sensor can be used, and industrial automation sensors are integral of the industrial processing and monitoring, consumer electronics, and they also smartphones, grave spokes, proximities, smart homes we are getting, agricultural sensor used farming also. So there also we have developed 1 or 2 patents in the agricultural also. So this way, now coming to the in-depth management, how it is interpretation of the data. Of the most, everything is the data we are receiving, data receiving centers are there, they are giving the data. Now, how to interpret the data, whether it is a urban land, whether it is a forest land, whether it is a habitation, or it is a wasteland, or it is a water ponds, how the interpretation is very important. So for that, the concept is required that electromagnetic energy, that is called absorption, reflection, transmission. So any objects, any plant, whenever the sunlight is falling here, it will have certain properties. How we are able to see green color, how we are able to see brown color, how we able to see. This let us analyze like this. This is because of the refraction. Think that, dear participant, that total is a dark. Now, even a red color looks black, even white color looks black, and everything will be black. But once you switch on the lights, everything will be colorful. Why? Because of the reflective property. Every object reflect in a different property. This is the main called signature value. The best example here I will tell you is that our fingerprints become the proof. So each fingerprints of the human being is differ from one person to other. Similarly, each object of the particular reflection property is different, and that value is called signature value. The reflection property, texture, tone, and then the color, everything will be variable, and based on that, the object can be identified. As we are identifying with the fingers of prints, we are identifying. Similarly, objects can be identified. And this is electromagnetic energy, EM, then electrical magnetical reflection properties, how it is comes. Then it comes. Now, this is the broad concept of the satellite imageries, how it catches. During the sunlight, I'm just taking one example. Without sunlight also we can take. So sunlight, when it is falling on the some land area or some area, wasteland or forest land, it will be reflected and the sensor will catch the image. So here the image, the sensor D is catching the image, and that data with that resolution, whatever the resolution of the sensor is having 0.25 meter resolution with a width of the 150 kilometers width, the data is being there and it is received by the satellite data receiving center. And this data is being sent to the various department for their interpretation, assessment, and the digital image analysis. And once the data is scrutinized, they will sort it out, the percentage of the vegetation, percentage of the agricultural, percentage of the various agricultural land, wasteland, river movement, everything, it will be very clearly easy to possible, and that data can be used for the purpose of our study and the research. And this type of data every day we are getting this data in the National Remote Sensing Center, and there is a data receiving center at Shadnagar. So basically, all the participants should remember that satellite launching process is something different, that is a pre-launching. Post-launching, what are the applications like GSLV and PSLV? What are the post-launching application, how the data is being used for the benefit of the society, for the benefit of the welfare of the country in various aspects, overall developments. Now I'm coming for quickly, 4 more slides are there. I'll quickly complete. Agricultural soil, we can study agricultural, how much crop, how much quantity, and how much healthy it is there. All these details using the satellite imageries. Forest environment, water resources, ocean development. Every day facts will go to the fisheries. Where is the fish potential zones? Because I told you the reflective properties differ when large number of fish is present. The reflection of the large number of fish is present. The reflection to the thermosensor will catch us in a different way, and that will be identified. This is a fish zone. Immediately message will go to the fisherman, and they will go there and catches the fishes. So like this, instantly live, it can be communicated because of the reflective properties. We can identify the cannabis plants, ganja, and all these plants, anything can be possible to identify. I need not mention all those details. Now, these are the broad spectrum of the various satellites. There are also, and the interpretation of data, shape, size, shadow, pattern, tone, texture, association. Then image rectification, image enhancement, image classification will be done satellite, depending upon our requirement. If you want agriculture, then we have to accordingly segregate the data. If you want the forest data, if you want the wasteland, if you want waterland, accordingly we can segregate the data, identify. And other important point I want to bring all the people is much of the thing in the universe we cannot able to see our naked eye. Only a wavelength of 0.4 to 0.7 is a visible spectrum, that only we can see, and other wavelengths we cannot able to find out. That is only possible through satellite. Gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, infrared, microwaves, radio. So whatever we are getting this blue, green, red to our view spectrum, our eye spectrum, is that because they are within this. There are many objects which are not in this range and which are unable to see. So these are the some of the satellite imageries. Depending upon our requirement of the forest area, they are given the color, and accordingly it will calculate the area, volume estimation, and there is about the quality standards interpretation of data, and how the tsunami prediction can able to do in this Sri Lanka beach before and after tsunami images. Now in the international satellites, we also have Landsat, which is a 16 days one time we'll get it. and Spot, Russian is there, IRS, Indian satellites, they're all doing. In fact, after USA, Indian satellites are very useful for this remote sensing technology. And this is the river of the Ganges River, how it is passing. This is all the habitation, and this is the red color is all forestry areas. And this is a passing and the present, and this will be what is the position of 10 years, before 10 years, all this we can able to analyze this data. Now I am coming, now lastly, I am coming to my, without spending much time, more we will be giving the details. Now, how we have developed a research project involved in this, using this data. We have studied environmental impact assessment using the PSLV satellite imageries, 20 kilometers radius of the Korba NTPC, Madhya Pradesh, Singrauli NTPC, Uttar Pradesh, Farakka NTPC in West Bengal, and Ramagundam in the Telangana. So it is a 6 months we have to complete a project as per the World Bank norms to get a 360 crore funding for their thermal power of the 500 megawatt plants, 1000 megawatts plants. So they have insisting that there is a clearance from the remote sensing satellite data assessment before launching, before establishment of NTPC, at the time of establishment, and post establishment, what are the changes. So we went and we have taken the imageries and we went to the NTPC Farakka and we are told that, sir, your ash pond is a half field, and earlier it was like this. And then there was a crop of the so-and-so crops are there. Then said, are you native of this place? No, I came first time I am coming, but the satellite imagery is there showing everything around you, before you, and present the condition like this. So they have been they have been very amazing, and they said, wonderful data, you are sitting here, you want to, you send how much our ash pond is there, how much ash pollution is controlling, how much, all these studies we have done using satellite, and also the physical verification. Physical data also we have taken random samplings and compared with this, and we are given, and ultimately the World Bank has sanctioned them, all of them, 360 crores each to them, and declared. That's why environmental impact assessment is judicially accepted, global level accepted. Biodiversity, individual species, those who are biodiversity expert, they can identify species, which is the forest in the Himalayas, what type of species are present. Sitting at your lab, you can able to find out, and what was earlier, all these developments you can see using the result. And we also done in the International Geosphere, Biosphere project, rain harvesting, all these projects in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, what is the rain harvesting and the river problems, all we have done it. And Indian Bureau of Mines project we have studied, because in Chhattisgarh, they want to take the Indian Bureau of Mines project they want to bring, but there is a clearance of the remote sensing data is required. So we have studied them and we asked them to go for this this ecological balances in the substituting this. So accordingly, they have substituted this and brought the balance in the environmental and got funding from the World Bank. So like this type of projects we have been involved, and many more projects we have been there. And I've been telling that in the last 2 years, we are developing, my students are developing certain patents. So smart agricultural sensors is a device they have developed here, and using this Internet of Thinking. So connecting to this smart device to the IoT, and we can able to find out agricultural changes, how it is without going there. Drones, all these things, then they have to go physically there, but without going into there, we can able to find out that device we have identified and registered in the UK. And biosensor, this is a recently a development. A biosensor we have developed to detect the lung cancer. The sensor, biotech sensor, it is a lung cancer, to give that symptoms, based upon the symptoms, how this sensor will give the valuable data. And beside this, many the patents were registered, the machine learning, then creating oxygen, AI model, all these things, that is not related to this. So we have been doing, much of my students are doing a lot of hard work in this sensor mechanisms and everything. And besides last, we are, as rightly said, multidisciplinary research, we can do collaboration. So we have collaborated with the many institutions, especially, Hyderabad, University of Hyderabad is an institution of eminence recognized by the Prime Minister of India with 1,000 crores funding, research funding. So it is a very rare, even many IITs are not recognized, but University of Hyderabad, being the first central university in South India, has been recognized as an institution of eminence. So we want to collaborate only with the top level institution, like Ministry of Agriculture, ICR, we have collaborated. BSNL, we have collaborated. Ministry of Rural Development, NIRD, we have collaborated. Apollo, MedSkill, Apollo, we have collaborated for the health. And infection prevention control, this is doing a wonderful training program across the globe. Many doctors and many surgeons, they are joining this program. NABH conditions, what are the conditions, we have been training them. Then there's the Eye Institute, LV Prasad, Google India, Fernandez Hospital for birth care, the normal birth care, how this training will be there, because nowadays all cesareans are going on. So then Artificial Intelligence, Machine Learning Academy of India, and many more we have been collaborating many, but we are going very selectively in associating with equal level of our partners to have that global standards. And this is a highly ranking institution which is having NAAC accreditation, NIRF ranking top 10 is there, National Institute of Ranking Framework, and it is a globally recognized in the global level. Our programs recognized World Educational Service, New York and Francisco. So all these training programs. So finally, I am going to this summary that we have studied that educational, how it is a new educational policy help us for education, then remote sensing technology, satellites, what is a satellite, how it is launched in longer distance, how remote sensing satellites and various natural resources, how we can do a sustainable development. And what are the spatial resolution? I told you that 0.25. Earlier it was 36 meters. Only object will identified. Now 0.25 meter object can also be identified easily with the remote sensing satellite. Mechanism of the sensors also we tell what is advanced, and research projects we have completed, research and patents were done. So with this, I think I conclude with the Albert Einstein statement. I never try to teach my students anything. I never try to teach anything to my students. I only try to create environment where they can learn. Thanks to the Eudaxia Research University Presidency, Riturajji, Dr. Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor, Register, all, and thank you all to the participants who have the patient listening to this. And more, if anything, you can call us, you can email to us. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. All the best. Have a good day.